All right, so welcome to Kick Ass and Take Names, Time Management and Getting Shit Done for Real People. I am your life coach, Laura McCaffrey. My pronouns are she and her. And before we dive in, I'd like to start off with a land acknowledgement. I live and coach from the unceded land of the Indigenous Merit people, and I want to take a moment to honor their stewardship of the land. So, I'm a person who likes to do all the things all right now. Like at the moment, I'm working full time out of the house as an engineer, running my coaching business, writing my dissertation, and parenting two young kids. And in order to get all of this done, I know that I need a system so that way I don't burn out, let things fall through the cracks, or just simply not finish the things that are important to me. So in today's mini training, it's called Kick Ass and Take Names, or Time Management for Real People, because once you get started to set yourself up to manage your time effectively, you're totally going to be kicking ass. So today we'll cover why time management matters, identifying your assignment sources, processing all of your sources, the 5 steps of calendaring, actually doing the work, and how to take this work further. Okay, so why is time management important? And I know that if you're here, you already know why. Managing our time effectively means that we not only get to do the things that we want to do, but we also develop like a really deep self-trust. We do what we say we're going to do when we say we're going to do it. And trusting ourselves is foundational to any change that we want to make in our lives, any goal that we want to reach. And also, practical time management can help us avoid burnout and people pleasing because you get real with what you can do in a day. And literally, it helps you see the trade offs that you're making when you prioritize someone else's shoulds over your own. So, this stuff is important. And beyond just avoiding the perpetual disappointment of not following through on what we want to do. So many of us have these like never ending to do lists, and some of us keep these lists in our heads and like, I see you, I don't understand you, but I see you. Some of us have notebook after notebook filled with our lists. And us list keepers, we love the thrill of it, right? Just like crossing something off the list. But it never gets worked through as fast as we'd like it to. And like one time, I carried a to do on my list for a long time. I think it was over a year. And then when I finally sat down to do the damn thing, it took me about 5 minutes, which is embarrassing. But with the process that I'm going to describe to you, we can actually get through our to dos even faster and make sure that we're prioritizing our times that we were working on the goals that are really important to us. So the first thing in a 5-step process that I'm going to show you is we're going to identify all the places that your work comes from. So that's like emails, texts, phone calls, physical mail, social media, Slack. Wherever you're getting your assignments from, you're going to kind of make an inbox for it all. And you're going to decide where you put this inbox. It all goes in one place. And, you can use a physical piece of paper, a list on your phone. You can have an inbox for your physical mail. If you work out of multiple locations, you can even have an inbox like at home and at work. So I just want to stress the importance of like not trying to keep your inbox in your brain. Like this needs to all get out of your head. The brain was designed for thinking and not as a storage depot for all of your to-dos. And this is why we drop the ball or like can't remember the amazing idea we had in the shower. Get everything out of your head and put it down on paper or on your digital list. Just this thing alone, if you're not currently doing it, is huge. This can be life changing. It really frees up your brain to do the heavy lifting instead of trying to remember the 80 things that are on your list. Okay, so once we've identified all of your inboxes, all of your assignment sources, we're going to go and process these. So what you're going to do is you're going to go one by one, and for each thing, you're going to decide if it's something you need to do or if it's just information. If it's information, it needs to be filed, like it cannot stay in your inbox. So you create some folders for this. This is either electronically or physically. If it's something about a project that you can't do right now, it has to go into a waiting folder. You're not going to keep that in your inbox either. If it is something that you can do, like something that you can take action on, you're going to follow the 3-minute rule. So if it's going to take you less than 3 minutes, you're going to do it right now. You're going to get that thing done because why should that hang out on your list and take up space in your head? If it takes longer than 3 minutes, that's going to go on your to-do list. And if it has more than one step, you're going to create a project. So under the project, you're going to list all the steps that you need to do or that you can think of right now that are associated with that project. And this is important because your brain will procrastinate doing project type work because it likes to say that you don't know what to do first or you don't know what to do next. So this can build a lot of confidence because you actually do know what to do to at least get started. So start to write those steps down in your projects. So the first time that you do like this processing of your assignments, it might take you a long time. The setting up might take you a long time because all of these places that you have assignments need to be processed. So while we're at it, let's just talk really quickly about your email inbox. Do not try to process the whole inbox if you have like 10,000 messages. Some of you are going to be really uncomfortable with, but here's my recommendation. Just archive the emails that are older than a month. If someone needs something from you, they're definitely going to loop back, and only process the items that are like within 30 days of the day that you're doing this. So what you're going to do is you're actually going to process all of your assignment sources once a day. And once you have that list of your to-dos and projects that need to get done, you're going to kind of do an assessment here and see where you're at. You're going to look at those to-dos and see if anything on there can be delegated, or if there's anything on there that you really just don't want to do and that doesn't actually need to get done. Is there anything on there that's not aligned with your values? Is there anything on there that you want to do, but just not right now, like not within the next 1 to 2 weeks? You're going to take all of those items that you've identified and like those items that you want to do later, it's not a to-do for right now, and you're going to put it on a separate list. So that way you have it in a file somewhere and you know that it's on your list of things that would be nice to do, but you're just not going to do them right now. And you're not going to let those things take up like the mental space in your brain. And having that separate list is totally fine. And you could add to it as you go along. And then as you come across time in your schedule or the desire to add it into your daily work, you can pull things from that list into your calendar. All right, so the next step is calendaring. You are going to put all of those to-dos and projects onto your calendar. I know you're not going to want to do this part. Like it feels very restricting if you don't currently calendar or block any time out, but this is really important. This is how we actually assess what we can get done in a day and get realistic with ourselves about where we're going and what we're doing. So I like to use my Google Calendar because it's always on me on my phone, but you can use paper calendar if that works best for you. And here's the 5 steps that we're going to do. Step 1 is kind of like schedule the must-dos. These are the blocks of time that you might not have a whole bunch of control over, like if it's your commute or if you're doing work meetings that you have to attend. It's not something you can delegate or not go to. Or if you have children, if like you do a kid's nighttime routine at certain times, block those times off in your calendar. I think once you do that, you'd actually be surprised with how much time those things take. And it's important to realize that you're probably not going to be productive on your other to-dos and goals during those times when you have these must-dos. The second thing you're going to do is you're going to schedule your downtime. So I know it sounds kind of weird to schedule downtime like as one of the first steps that you're going to do, but it's super important to schedule in your rest time, your joy time, your breaks, like your time to be a human. If you don't take time off, you're actually going to be less productive. And I know once you start getting into scheduling your tasks and scheduling your projects, it gets harder to actually work in this time. So it's really important that you do this up front. Then what you're going to do is you're going to schedule 2 hours of deep work per day. Now, if you can't fit in 2 hours, listen, I get it. Like those of us who are working full time and have kids and have other obligations that need to get done, you might not get a full 2 hours, but see something that would feel reasonable to you to do your deep work. And like this should be at a time when you know that you'll like feel your best. So try to schedule it then. We put this in after those must-dos and your downtime because your brain doesn't actually want to tackle these big picture projects, even though we say they're important to us, because it gets a little hit of dopamine each time we complete like one of those smaller projects or those easier to-dos. So we want to make sure that we schedule in the time to work on our big goals. This is the stuff that's really important to us and indicates that we need to do deep work. Step 4, you're just going to schedule in a little bit of time to process your calendar and plan. This is an important part of your day because this sets you up for success for either a week or 2 weeks out, depending on how long you're going to calendar for. I usually calendar for a week. You can do 2 weeks, but I think a week out is pretty good to be looking at what you need to do and what you need to get done. And then step 5, the very last thing, you're going to schedule all the rest of the smaller to-dos. And like I said before, these smaller tasks can totally take over. So this is why we schedule tasks last. So that way they don't end up running into the time that we've created to do our deep work or to do our resting. Okay, and now it's time to actually do the work. And here's where managing your mind around the tasks that you have comes in. So you got to turn off your notifications, turn off your phone, and you need to work on what you scheduled. So you have 3 options here. You can do what you plan to do, you can stare at a wall, or you can coach yourself as to why you don't want to do it. Don't move your stuff around. Otherwise, you'll end up doing stuff that's easy and never work on the hard stuff or the deep work or those big goals that you have. So there's no more negotiation. And of course, emergencies are going to come up. That's not what I'm talking about here. That's not a negotiation. That's something that you need to take care of. You know when those come up. Those you know in your soul that it's not just you're procrastinating and doing like a mini quit on your goals. So when you're managing your mind, you really want to become aware of those unconscious thoughts and like work to either change them or accept them about why you're not working on what you wanted to work on. Because the reason that you don't do the thing you planned is because you have kind of like feelings about what's on your calendar, feelings about what you're about to do. And it's a little bit tricky because we can tend to procrastinate with other work. Like we can still feel productive because we're getting other work done, but it's not the work that we intended to do. So if you're not making progress on your big goals, this might be what's happening. And it actually saves you time to stop and manage your mind because it can just take us even longer if we're in complete resistance to the tasks that we have done, that we have on our calendar, and we just can't get it done. So if you stop and manage your mind around your tasks, you're actually going to be more productive. And just a note, like I want to say that if you're not getting the things done that you want to get done, you're not lazy, you're not disorganized. It's just sometimes these thoughts that are running in the background are totally messing you up. So I want you to really give this system a chance. If you're not used to calendaring, it can take a while to get into the swing of things, but you'll see how much of this work that's important to you that you'll be getting done when you effectively manage your calendar and manage your mind around it. So if you enjoyed this mini training and you're ready to set yourself up for success in accomplishing all of your goals and feeling good while you do it without the burnout and overwhelm, I totally want to work with you as your coach. In my 3-month one-on-one coaching program, we'll do a goal evaluation and clarification. And here's where we'll do a really deep dive into what your current goals are. We're going to get really clear on why you want to do what you're looking to achieve. We'll make sure that the goals light you up, and we're going to examine all of the thoughts that you have about your goals. So we're going to do some of that mind management so that way when you sit down to execute, you can actually do it. All of this is going to set the stage for taking massive action. And you know what, if you like aren't even sure what your goals are, this program is still for you. Like during the first stage, we'll figure out what you'd like to create and what would feel like magic in your life. Then we'll work on the planning. So we'll go over scheduling your time again. We'll dive even deeper into the steps of calendaring. We'll do a time inventory to see where your time is currently going. It can be really illuminating to see what you're spending your time on now. And we're going to evaluate whether you're happy with that. Like, are you satisfied with where your time is going, or would you prefer to be spending it on something else? And if you would, we'll reclaim some of that time that's leaking into areas where you don't want it to go. And then next, we'll make some adjustments to your calendar and schedule in the things that are important to you. And don't worry, it's not like I'm going to be telling you you need to wake up at 3 a.m. every day to do things. Most of the women that I know are already doing something of that sort, like waking up ridiculously early and getting loads of stuff done. But sometimes our priorities are off and we tend to prioritize other people's shoulds instead of our own work. So we're also going to make sure that you take time to rest. That is a critical piece of being productive. And we're going to evaluate the environment that you have where you're creating the most optimal conditions to get stuff done. And then we're going to take massive action. We're going to work through what the right next step is. We'll evaluate results and course correct as we go. We're going to learn from mini failures like a pro, because pros fail forward, and use failure as stepping stones towards your goals. And we're going to conquer overwhelm to move you forward. We'll manage your energy for sustained effort, and we'll banish perfectionism that's handcuffing your efforts. We're going to learn how to trust ourselves and listen to our intuition and inner guidance, and we're going to make sure that you're having fun doing it. And if this sounds like what you need, I would absolutely love to work with you. So the next step is to book a free consultation. You can book your consult by emailing me at laura@laura-mccaffrey.com, or just hitting reply to the email this training came in to let me know you're interested. Just getting on the consultation can totally change the way that you're thinking about your goals and help you break through those plateaus. So there's nothing to lose and everything to gain. So let's work on those goals. Let's get them done before the holidays. I'd love to work with you.